memories if we could a little bit. In terms of just the quick changes from the Senate. So Katie, could you join us? Yeah, sorry. What the crumbs. I realize you've gone through this with us already, but we just want to make sure, and we had a couple members who weren't here at that point, so we can just go through the changes quickly. That would be great.
Yeah, you know what I have is I have a section by section summary. Let me pull that up. And it has the changes from House, Senate Health and Welfare and Senate Approps in red. Maybe that's a faster
That sounds great.
way to see
That
that.
sounds a great document that I can use on the floor as well.
You are welcome. Are we live?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Katie McGlynn, Office of Legislative Counsel. Let me pull up this document. Okay, so this is a section by section summary. Everything in black is language that came over from the House to the Senate. And then I updated this document using red to indicate where Senate Health and Welfare, Senate Approps had made a change. So first in the legislative intent, there's language, a continuum of supports and services be available and administered flexibly in a manner to provide a pathway to permanent housing, meet the specific needs of a household experiencing homelessness, and support community partners. No changes in the purpose section, and that brings us to the new chapter. No changes in definitions. Here we are in 2202. This is establishing the continuum. There's new language added that all funding opportunities available under the program are open to any equity or to any entity or community partner, including those that did not previously receive funding. Under program components, the permanent supportive housing is no longer level 4, meaning that hotels and motels bumps up to level 4. And then permanent supportive housing drops down to be its new own section outside of the levels. Some rewording to specify that instead of placing or providing a service, there's the offer to place or provide the service, and you're seeing that here. In this last bullet, once assessed, OEO or community partners shall offer to place a household in the appropriate level of care to address the household's specific needs if capacity, staffing, and geographic accessibility are available. And that was pulled from elsewhere in the bill and repeated here. Prevention and diversion shelter, again, that offer to language. Low barrier shelters, specialized shelters, the use of offer right here. Renumbering hotels and motels to be level 4. And then a standalone section on permanent supportive housing. It borrowed a lot of language that had been in your level 4. And it moves a little bit of language from elsewhere in the bill. So now it has language that AHS departments and their community partners shall offer permanent supportive housing to an eligible household participating in the program. It combines long-term community-based rental assistance with voluntary flexible supportive services. Your language, and then last bullet allows the use of permanent supportive housing by an eligible household as long as the eligible household household's plan indicates it's necessary. That was in yours. I think it moved somewhere else too.
Okay, but they took it out and then I
Put it back in.
They put it back in. Yeah.
This needs to say 4. I'm gonna add that since I know you're using it now. Okay, and then we have other emergency housing services. This was broken into 3 subsections. The first was municipal supports, and they added language authorizes an eligible municipality to submit a grant application to OEO containing the estimated cost of the municipality's proposal and other identified funding sources. In 2210 household responsibilities language that the household qualifies for services if it agrees to engage with the lead case manager.
She got lead though, didn't they?
Lead. Oh, I see.
It doesn't matter, but I'm pretty sure they took out leave.
Yeah, I think you're right. The case, yeah, I think you're right. Thank you. Let's see, prioritization, time limits. Adding language clarifying what rolling means for the 70-day rolling period for hotel and motel use outside of the cold weather season would be calculated from the date of the eligible household's application through the same day of the month, 12 months later. Case management services, a household may request but is not guaranteed a specific case manager or a change in case manager. Some changes to this notice section. For starters, the last three subsections of the section were removed. This first bullet has to do with what is in the notice and how the notice is issued. So the effective date of the action has to be transmitted in a timely manner by email or US mail. And then language that fair hearings held under this section are conducted in accordance with the Human Services Board existing statute. Under rulemaking, this is very general, but if you remember the rulemaking section, there is a list of all different topics that had to be covered in rulemaking, and the Senate added a process for reinstatement after termination. They also made a few, like maybe smaller word tweaks that weren't picked up in this.
Can I just ask a very technical question?
Yes.
Just to learn. So right above 2216, there are two of those section markings. What does that, why are
Oh,
there
because
two?
there is more than one
Or it's
section.
a Sections,
Yeah.
it's plural. Okay,
Mhm.
that's what I guess.
Let's see. Merger of continuums of care, the grant requirements. This new language specific to fiscal year 27 about how the rolling counting happens in fiscal year 27. So in fiscal year 27, an eligible household utilizing GA emergency housing in a hotel or motel during the previous fiscal year shall not be subject to the 70-day limit established in the continuum until the 12-month anniversary of the eligible household's fiscal year 26 application. So May 26 application, that household doesn't become subject to the 70 days in the continuum until May of 2027. Transition language, interim, emergency rulemaking. Okay. So the emergency rules would take effect on September 1. The House version had July 1. So that gives 2 months for the department to put those rules together. And then there is language that in July and August of 2026, DCF administers the continuum by applying GA emergency housing rules approved by LCAR on March 13th for the administration of the act. And again, not a perfect fit, but an interim solution. Next is the adoption of permanent rules, and there's some stakeholder involvement. Prior to filing the permanent rule, DCF must work in collaboration with stakeholders to develop the rule, including at least 5 stakeholder meetings throughout various regions of the state. And then by next April, submitting draft rules to the policy committees for review and consideration of committee comments. So that is not the committees approving the rules, that's providing feedback to the department. No changes in 10. 11 is the Vermont Rental Assistance Bridge Program. This new language directs AHS to collaborate with the State Housing Authority to develop a framework for establishing a unified housing voucher program that consolidates voucher assistance currently provided through the agency's departments. And there is a report of findings and recommendations by next January. Requires the State Housing Authority and AHS departments to incorporate existing rental assistance that is funded by AHS and its departments and designated for Vermonters exiting homelessness into the program, and establish eligibility criteria and any prioritization that may be necessary for the use of funds appropriated from the program and the appropriate length of assistance under the section. Language of the program does not provide the full amount of the household's rental payment and shall not be a permanent voucher. same language about the recipients of home. And then a new language, the program is accessible to eligible households served by each AHS department with priority given to those exiting homelessness, but not to the exclusion of other eligible populations. Payment rate structure, instead of establishing a payment rate structure, proposing one. And then in the second bullet, breaking this into an interim report and a final report. So an interim report by next April, and then the final report by next November. Capped room rates. In terms of the expenditures, some of the numbers have changed. So 500 to the Community Resource Center, and then reducing the emergency hotel motel by 500. Senator Probst wanted this cross-reference, grants to municipalities pursuant to what is in the chapter up above, to be clear. And then there was language added that requires quarterly reports from OEO describing how the funds have been utilized to date. Those are the changes that came over from the Senate.
Quarterly reports to the legislature?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Quarterly reports to the legislature?
Yes, let me double check, but I believe so. Yeah, so on or before October 1 of 26, January 1 of 27, April 1 of 27, the office shall submit a written report to the various policy committees and appropriations committees describing how the funds referenced have been utilized to date, etc.
Okay, great. Thank you. Are there any questions? This is pretty much the same review we had a little while ago. There was, slight modification to the appropriation from the Appropriations Committee downstairs. Okay, I would entertain, oh no, I don't need an official motion. So for all of those people who are in favor of concurring with the Senate's proposal amendment to House Bill H 938, please raise your hands. Okay, and Eric has also indicated his concurrence. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, thank you so much, Katie.
Thank you. This was a long haul of 4+ years of work on this system. To ask Anne?
She's resting downstairs,
okay.
so I can,
Yeah.
yeah. I'll stick my head in and see if she wants.